Hello, everyone. Welcome to the undergraduate webinar series, an interactive online platform connecting high school students to the Ashoka community. Thank you for joining us today for the webinar on undergraduate admissions. My name is Ridhesh Joshi, and I'm manager with the Office of Financial Aid. And joining me today is Jayati Bhatia, who is senior manager with the Office of Financial Aid. Together, we'll be addressing some of your queries on fee waivers and science scholarships available to the students at Ashoka University. Before we get started, I'd like to inform our audience that round one admissions to Ashoka's undergraduate program are open. The deadline for round one is 23rd November 2022. You do not have to wait for your class 12 board marks to apply. You can get a confirmed offer of admission and financial aid even before your final board results are announced. So now, without further ado, let's get started. I request our audience to kindly type any questions they might have in the Q&A box provided on their Zoom screen. We'll address them towards the end of the session. So let's get started. Good evening, Jayati.
Good evening, Ridhesh. Thank you for the introduction.
So Jayati, we say that we have a need-based financial aid system at Ashoka. So what exactly do we mean by need-based financial aid, and what's the philosophy behind this?
Okay, so talking about need-based financial aid, well, when we started this institute and the idea, which was almost 10 or 12 years back, it was supposed to be and currently is the largest collective philanthropy in education in India. About 150 donors have pooled in their resources in the last 10 or 12 years, and they all have been aligned to a single mission and vision, which is that quality education should be accessible and available to all, and it should not be restricted on an individual's ability to play. So this is really to create a level playing field for everyone and anyone who wants to study at Ashoka. We believe that when students get selected, they all have an equal chance to succeed academically at Ashoka because they have already gone through a very rigorous admissions process. However, given our mission, we do acknowledge that all of them may not be at the same financial level. They may be able to support the fees either in part or maybe not in full. So therefore, we have this program which is based on their ability to pay rather than their academic standing. It really tries to create that level playing field for students so that once they get selected, they get an equal chance to study and their ability to pay does not become a hindrance in joining Ashoka.
Right. And so, Jayati, what has been the impact of this need-based program over the years since the university started?
Okay, so the impact of this need-based program has been quite huge. If I add up all the numbers since the beginning, almost 4,100 and plus students have been benefited from this financial aid program. They have either paid only a part or did not pay any amount of fee. And of the resources that have been pulled in together, almost 418 crore rupees went into funding education for students. So this is an amount which has been unheard of in our country going only towards need-based financial aid. Therefore, if we look at any batch of students or any set of students who are currently studying at Ashoka, all of them are nearly 50% of them are on some form of aid.
Right. And so, Jayati, what exactly do you mean when you say on some form of aid?
Okay, so if a student qualifies for financial aid, they can get a waiver of anywhere between 25% on the tuition fee to a full waiver on all costs, which includes their tuition, residence, and meals. So this means in monetary terms that they can get a waiver of anywhere between 2 lakhs to almost 11 lakhs per annum of their fee. So to say that it is not a binary yes or a no, that yes, I will get financial aid or no, I will not get financial aid. It is a gradient or a range wherein a student can get anywhere between a 25% waiver on their tuition fee, going up till a full waiver on all the costs. And on an average, we've seen that 60% of our students who qualify for financial aid, they nearly get around 4 to 5 lakhs waiver on their tuition fee per annum.
Okay. And so is there any eligibility to apply, or everyone is free to apply for aid.
So there's absolutely no limitation in applying. Everybody and anybody can apply for financial aid. There is just one logistical step, which is that this process only starts when a student receives a firm offer of admission. So once a student gets a firm offer of admission, they will also get a link to apply for financial aid form. So they can go to the link, they can start filling the form. It's free of cost. There is no amount involved in applying. It is just some of your time which is involved. So Pradesh, why don't you tell us that how easy it is to apply for financial aid?
Sure, Jayati. So candidates can apply for financial aid as soon as they get a firm offer of admission from the university. In our experience, we've seen that once the candidate has all the information and documents ready, then it doesn't take more than 1 or 2 days to submit the form. As the financial aid form requires details of the family, we suggest that the students involve their parents or guardians to fill in the form. So let me now walk you through the main sections of the financial aid form. As you'd be able to see on the screen, the form has 4 main sections. The first is the personal and family details section. So this asks for details such as where you've studied, where you live, your address, your other contact details, your family members, their occupations, and so on and so forth. The second section is the earning member details and business section. So this section asks for income details of your family members. And if a student comes from a business family or where the parents are self-employed, we ask, there's an additional section for them where we ask for some details related to the business. The third is the wealth and expense section. This section requires you to provide all assets and investment details of your family and all fixed expenses that your family incurs in the financial year. And the last section is the common section of the form, which is mandatory. So here is your opportunity to explain in detail why your family requires financial aid. You may feel free to write all details you feel we should know for the purpose of our assessment. It's also useful for you to know that our assessment is completely based on what you provide. So please ensure that you provide us with an exhaustive information.
Right. So despite the process being so easy, what could be some of the challenges which the students may face while filling the form?
Right. So in our experience, we've seen that sometimes the parents are not willing to share financial aid information as they think that it is sensitive data. So through this financial aid webinar, we'd like to assure that all the information and documents that are shared with our office is kept confidential and stored in a secured way on the Ashoka portal. Nobody has access to this information apart from the financial aid office at Ashoka University, and even other departments at Ashoka also do not have access to these details. The other challenge that some students face is that at the time of filling in the financial aid form, if they have any queries, they write to us either when they're very close to the deadline or if the deadline has gotten over. In such cases, we'll really not be able to open the form for them again. So we encourage the students to reach out to us within the deadline. In fact, the sooner the better, and we ensure that we assist every student in the best possible manner.
Okay. Thank you, Radesh, for all the guidance given so far. So what are some of the important aspects that the applicant should do while filling in the form responsibly?
Right. So a very important thing that is not perhaps given due importance is that the student has to click on the submit button as soon as they finish filling in the form. And they should check for the acknowledgement mail that they receive on their mail IDs, which is a validation of the fact that the form has been submitted and it has reached us. So you will now see on the screen 2 mail IDs being displayed, which are admissions@ashoka.edu.in and financialaid@ashoka.edu.in. We would encourage all applicants to add these 2 mail IDs to their mailbox so that you do not miss out on any important communication or updates from us, and also so that none of the mails that we sent you goes into your spam. I would like to reiterate here that while filling in the form, we suggest that you involve your parents, as sometimes we've seen that students may not exactly be aware of the financial details of the family. So we basically ask for monthly income details and annual details at different places. Sometimes we've seen that the students get confused about which figure to fill in where, and any wrong figure punched in at the wrong place can have huge ramifications as far as our assessments go. So I would encourage once again that you please involve your parents, and once you have all the documents ready, it won't take you more than 2 days to fill in the form.
Okay. So Radesh, I now have a slightly controversial question for you. What if you discover that the student deliberately has put wrong information to mislead the office?
Well, that's a very important question, Jayati. Every form that we receive is subject to verification either through mail or through a phone call. And if during a conversation it is found that the family has investments or savings whose details have not been shared in the financial aid form, then the candidate's financial aid application will be disqualified there and then. So the students have to really bear this in mind while filling in the form.
Okay, all right. So does everybody need to apply upfront, or like admissions, we also have different timelines for each round?
Right. So the financial aid process starts once the student has received a firm offer of admission from Ashoka. When you receive a mail of a confirmed offer of admission, it would also say that the financial aid form is now open. And on your student portal, you will be able to find a link to the financial aid form. So for students applying in round 1 of admissions, the financial aid form is going to open on the 20th of January, 2023. And the deadline for filling in the form will be 5 days. So this deadline you must strictly adhere to, because under no circumstances will we be able to extend it any further. And you would subsequently have other deadlines for students applying in other rounds for financial aid.
Okay. So I guess.
Yeah. So Jayati, maybe perhaps I'd also like to add here that during the process of filling in the form, you may have a lot of questions about how to fill in the form, or very specific queries, especially for students who are applying from other countries, because the nomenclature that is used there may differ from the nomenclature that we've mentioned in the financial aid form. So in all such cases, we would strongly urge you to please reach out to us on the email IDs that are being shown on the screen right now, which is financialaid@ashoka.edu.in. You must contact us before the deadline and not wait for the deadline to get over. We'll ensure that we answer all your queries and assist you in completing the form in case you face any difficulties. So with this, we come to the end of the opening remarks, and now we take up some questions from the students. So the first question is, are merit-based scholarships only for science subjects? So I'd respond here, yes, it's only meant for the science subjects. So these science subjects basically are physics, chemistry, biology, computer science, and mathematics. So only if you give one of these 5 subjects as your preferred major, only then will you be able to apply for the merit-based scholarship. So the second question is, as someone who resides in a state that does not pay income tax to the central government, is this going to hinder the percentage of financial aid that I might be offered?
So no, that will not affect the percentage of financial aid that you may be offered. In place of submitting the ITR, you can submit any other document, which can be an income certificate or any other income proof which your parent might have from the particular organization he is working with. So that will also suffice for us.
Right. So the next question is, what are the criteria for financial aid for non-science courses? So let me clarify here, the criteria for financial aid will be the same for students regardless of whether they are applying to a science course or a non-science course. It's only if you qualify for a science-based, for a merit-based science scholarship, only then will you have to fill an extra form, an additional form, and you'll have to go through a separate process if you want to avail of the science-based scholarship. So as far as the financial aid form is concerned, it's the same across the board. It'll be the same for every student that is applying to Ashoka for financial aid. So the next question is, are gap year students eligible for financial aid?
Yes, we do have transfer students joining the university, and they also get an option to apply for financial aid. as and when their process starts for admission.
Right. Are siblings considered in earning member details? Although we primarily look at the income details of parents, but if you have an earning sibling, we would encourage you to also mention his or her details, because it just makes the form more holistic and it helps us making our assessments more comprehensive. So I would encourage you to please add your siblings' earning details too, if your sibling is earning. So the next question is, can you save the form halfway and continue filling it later?
Yes, you can do that. There is an option for save as draft. So you can click on the save as draft option. You can log out of the financial aid form. And when you want to start filling it again, you can log in and you can start filling it again from the same place where you have ended it filling. So yes, that is available.
The next question is, income of salaried person, is it take-home salary or gross salary? So if you look at the financial aid form, the sample financial aid form, in fact, that's available on Ashoka website, you'd see that we ask for the gross income at one place, and then we also ask for the tax deducted at source as per the salary slip. So, and then we come to the computation of the net salary, net of taxes, basically. So there's a separate place for gross salary and another additional cell where you need to mention the tax that you've paid as per the salary slip. So the next question is, does availing financial aid impact the future opportunities at Ashoka for the student?
No, so financial aid does not impact any opportunity available to the student once they join the university. All students are treated as equal. So there is no demarcation if a student is availing a financial aid or not availing a financial aid.
Right. The next question is, if my family's income is 3 to 4 lakhs per annum, how much aid can I expect? So I would state here that income, though a very important factor, is not the only factor that goes into our assessments. So there are a number of other things that we see, but we would encourage you to please fill in the form, and we'll do our best in terms of whatever aid is suited given your income and other details that you've submitted. The next question is, if a family has the means to pay but does not want to spend this kind of money for the education of their ward, will they be eligible for aid?
Well, we would just encourage you to apply for financial aid, because we don't know what factor you are referring to here, but we look at multiple factors to decide whether a student is eligible for financial aid or not. So just apply for financial aid, go through the process, and let the committee decide whether you qualify for financial aid or not.
Right. The next question is, are the dates for filling in the financial aid form different for early registrants? So I would say no. The date for each round one applicant will be the same, and the financial aid form opens only after you get a firm offer of admission, which will be on the 20th of January. So for everyone, the financial aid form will open on the 20th of January. So the next question is, are these financial aid not for art students?
Financial aid is available for all the students, irrespective of a student coming from any background. Even if a student intends to do a science major at Ashoka, they are still eligible to apply for financial aid. And we do encourage students to apply for financial aid and not only be dependent on the merit scholarship. So everyone who gets a firm offer of admission is eligible to apply for financial aid.
Right. The next question is, does the child need to declare the preferred major to apply for financial aid? So the answer is no, but you would have to declare the preferred major when you are applying for admission to Ashoka University. So at the time of aid, you do not have to declare the preferred major. So the next question is, can we apply for financial aid with a conditional offer of getting said marks in boards?
No, so only students who receive a firm offer of admission can apply for financial aid. All students who receive a conditional offer or a waitlisted offer, as and when their offer gets converted, they will then get an option to apply for financial aid. But if the offer does not get converted, then you will not have an option to apply. So the only criteria to be eligible to apply for financial aid is that you need to receive a firm offer of admission.
Right. So for international students, what are the components of the financial aid package? What does it cover? So the components of financial aid are the same regardless of where the student comes from. There are certain additional benefits if you qualify for full scholarship. but these benefits are going to be applicable to every student who gets full scholarship, regardless of the student's nationality. So the next question is, what are the conditions for merit-based scholarship in biology as a major?
Okay, so we have our merit criteria mentioned on the website for the sciences merit scholarship. So we would highly encourage you to refer to the website where we have mentioned the merit criteria, the means criteria, and what will be the application process for the merit scholarship.
Right. The next question is, what documents are required to be readied for the financial aid form? So there's actually a huge list of documents that we need for the financial aid form. So this would basically include your completed income tax returns, your salary slips, your bank statements, your EMI statements if you've taken any loan. In fact, for the benefit of all the viewers, I would encourage everyone to please go through the financial aid page on the Ashoka website. And there's also a sample financial aid form that we've embedded there. I would encourage you all to please read through it because you'll be able to gauge what documents would be required. In fact, I would also encourage you to, once we come close to the deadline for filling in the form, I would also encourage everyone to keep the documents ready in order to avoid the last moment hitch with respect to availing of documents. So I would encourage everyone to please go through the website and you'll be able to figure out what documents are needed for the financial aid form. The next question is there any quota for ex-defense and single girl child?
No, there is no quota for any student coming from any particular background. Financial aid is irrespective of all these backgrounds. We are here to support you. This is the financial standing of the family. So if a student comes from an army background or a single girl child, we will not give any special preference to any of these,
Right.
family backgrounds, right?
Right. The next question is the continuance of financial aid or scholarship in any way linked to academic performance of the student over the 4 years? So I'll cover the two things asked here separately. For financial aid, since it's entirely need-based, it is in no way linked to your academic performance. So you'll get financial aid throughout the entire 4-year period, regardless of how you perform academically. But for the science-based scholarship, there's a certain CGPA requirement that you are required to meet every year. If you fail to meet that requirement, your merit-based scholarship will stop, whereas financial aid, if you've gotten any, would continue. The next question is, will the financial aid cover only tuition fee?
No, so financial aid does cover tuition fee. It also covers residence cost and meal cost, but it goes in this proportion that first, if a financial aid is granted to you, it will be awarded on the tuition fee. If you qualify for the next financial aid section, that will be residence fee and then the meal cost. So it's not only restricted to the tuition fee, it also covers residence and meal cost depending on the financial situation of the family.
Right. The next question is, what's the maximum fee waiver offered to non-science students? So the maximum fee waiver that's available at Ashoka is a full scholarship, which is 100% waiver on your residence, your tuition, and your meals. And there are also certain additional benefits that the student gets. But I must clarify here that these benefits are going to be applicable if you qualify for a full scholarship. It'll be applicable to both science as well as non-science students. So for the purpose of financial aid, we do not distinguish between a science and a non-science student. That's only for the purpose of the merit come need-based scholarships for sciences. The next question is, are merit-based aid additional to the need-based financial aid?
Yes, the merit-based aid is additional to the need-based financial aid. So students should apply for financial aid as well. And if they qualify as per the merit criteria for the sciences scholarship, then they will also be considered for the merit scholarships. So it is in addition to your financial aid, which is granted.
Right. The next question is, are there any financial aid slabs based on income levels? Well, I must clarify here that the income is only one of the many factors that go into the financial aid decision that we take. But we have uploaded on our website an indicative slab So basically, it'll show how much aid has a person gotten based on certain income slabs that we've shown there on the website. So if you're interested in knowing, we would encourage you to please go through the financial aid page where we've given an indicative slab. The next question is with regard to semester abroad or summer abroad program. Does the financial aid provided by Ashoka carry over, or is there some sort of other process if those students hope to attend one of these programs?
So for summer abroad or semester abroad, there is a different process to apply for financial aid. For summer at Ashoka, it will be covered with the financial aid, which has been awarded to you for the undergraduate program. But there is a separate process to apply for financial aid if you want to do a summer abroad or a semester abroad.
Right. The next question is, do I need to submit a financial aid form every academic year during my studies? So the answer is no. Once you've received financial aid at the beginning of your academic journey at Ashoka, the aid you've gotten will be applicable for all 4 years at Ashoka. The next question is sports also a criteria for applying for financial aid? And is international exposure in a particular sport beneficial?
No, so sports is not a criteria to be considered for financial aid. As we have mentioned before, that financial aid is purely based on the financial standing of a student's family. So sports or any other criteria does not hold any value in awarding financial aid to students.
Right. The next question is there any aid given to scheduled castes or scheduled tribes? The answer to which is no. This is purely a need-based aid. So your scholastic merit or your caste or any other detail does not go into awarding the aid. So it's entirely based on need. And therefore, none of these other factors go into our assessments while we're assessing a case for aid. Next question is, how much financial aid can I get in the merit scholarship for sciences?
Okay, so for sciences, you can get a minimum of 100% waiver on the tuition fee and a maximum of 100% waiver on tuition fee and 100% waiver on the residence fee. So this will depend on your performance and the various other factors which are considered while you go through the merit scholarship process.
Right. The question now is domicile factor taken into consideration? The answer is yes. If you are a domicile of Haryana, you'll get some fee waiver, which is applicable only to Haryana domicile students. So you have to submit the domicile certificate along with the financial aid form, if you have one, and you'll get some additional fee waiver on account of your Haryana domicile status. The next question is, if something happens and I require more financial aid in my second year of college, is it possible that I can be granted more aid?
Yes, so students do get an option to apply for a revision of aid in the second year or third year, but this is solely basis if there has been some exceptional circumstance in the student's family. For example, if there has been a loss of job of the main earning member or loss of life or any such exceptional circumstance for which the family has not planned when they were joining the university. But keeping that aside, we want that when a student joins the university, they should plan their finances accordingly for the next 4 years of their Ashoka journey. And if anything happens, which is not planned in the family's financial circumstances, then we are there to support you.
Right. The next question is, are merit-based aid additional to need-based financial aid? So the answer is yes. These two processes actually run differently, separately. So if you qualify for aid and you also qualify for merit-based scholarship, then the scholarship amount that you get will be over and above the aid that you've gotten. The next question is, do we have to declare whether or not we need aid during our Ashoka admission process?
So during the Ashoka admission process, we won't ask you if you are interested in applying for financial aid because both the processes are completely de-linked from each other. Admission process is dependent wholly on your academic standing and other scholastic and ECAs, and financial aid is totally dependent on the financial standing of a student's family. So there is no overlap between the two processes.
Right. The next question is there any chance of the financial aid being revoked? So the answer is no. Once the aid has been awarded to you, it shall it shall be applicable for all 4 years at Ashoka. Only in our presentation, we had stated that only if it is found that some information that you had given in the form was incorrect, only then would your financial aid be revoked. Otherwise, under no other circumstances would that happen. The next question is there a separate form for merit cum means scholarship?
So yes, there is a separate form for the merit cum means scholarship. If you qualify the merit as well as the means criteria, then you will get an email from us wherein you have to write an SOP regarding why do you want to study your preferred major. And we will forward it to the concerned faculty members. They will assess your SOP and they will also then ask you to appear for an interview. And then as per their rating of the interview and the SOP, they will decide whether the student is eligible for the merit scholarship or not. So mainly that is the process.
Right. Also, Jayati, if you could clarify whether the merit scholarship is also for psychology.
No, merit scholarship is not for psychology. It's only for the sciences courses, which is chemistry, physics, bio, mathematics, and computer science. Right. Only for these 5 subjects.
Right. So the next question is, can I switch to a non-science major later if I get a merit-based scholarship? You are free to do that. I think that's the very basis of liberal arts. You can change your majors based on what your liking is. However, if you've gotten a merit-based scholarship and you choose to switch to a non-science-based major, then your scholarship component will not be applicable any longer. You will not get the scholarship component. You'll only be getting your financial aid. The next question is there an eligibility criteria for merit scholarship?
Yes, there is an eligibility criteria for merit scholarship, and the same is mentioned on the website. So we encourage you to go through the website and look at the eligibility criteria, because there is a different criteria for different boards for which students are appearing. So please go through the website once and you can check the eligibility criteria.
Right. The next question is, when will we have to take the financial aid test and what would the syllabus cover? So let me clarify, there's no test that you have to take. You just have to fill in a form, which is a sample of which in fact is available on the Ashoka financial aid page. So there's no test that you have to take in order to avail of financial aid. So the next question is, do I need to fill in the financial aid form every time I have to pay fees for Ashoka?
No, you just have to fill in the financial aid form at the time of joining and whenever it opens for you in whichever round you apply. So it's only once that you apply for financial aid, but not every time when you want to pay the fees.
Right. The next question is, are there any scholarships for economics? The simple answer to which is no. At this point, we only have scholarships for science subjects, not for any other subject. How much is the fee waiver for Haryana domicile?
So the fee waiver for Haryana domicile, a minimum fee waiver is 25% waiver on the tuition fee. And apart from the Haryana domicile fee waiver, you are also eligible to apply for financial aid. And if you qualify for financial aid, then if the financial aid amount is higher, you will be getting the financial aid. Otherwise, for a Haryana domicile applicant, minimum fee waiver will be 25% waiver.
The next question is, what if my family members have not filed ITR? Can I still apply for aid? So yes, you can apply for aid. If the ITR is not available, then we would encourage you to instead attach the income certificates of your parents. So the income certificates you can get from the local municipality or the local Gram Panchayat or the Tehsildar, in fact. If you also do not have the income certificate, then we would encourage you to attach a self-attested Word file in which you mention your family's annual income, the source of that income, and the reason for not attaching the ITR. I think that should suffice. And in case our team has any issues or if there's any clarification that we need from you, we'll write you a mail and we'll seek a response. The next question is, if parents are separated, not legally divorced, do we report the financial status of both parents or one of them that we live with?
So in case where the parents are separated, we do understand that there will be difficulty in procuring the financial statements for both the parents. If it's possible to share the financial statements or the ITRs of both the parents, we'll encourage you to do that. Otherwise, the parent you are staying with and the one who is taking care of you, you should provide their financial details.
Right. The next question is, what if I can't furnish all documents in the 7-day period given for financial aid? Is there a chance for extension? So the first clarification that I'd like to give here is that the period has now gotten reduced to 5 days. Secondly, the reason why we are having the webinar now is so that you could, so that we could in fact encourage you to go through the financial aid form and start collecting the documents already, and not wait for the financial aid process to start for you to start collecting the documents. Because in most cases, we may not be able to allow for any extension in the submission deadline. But if there is a situation in which you, under no circumstances, are being able to submit the form within those 5 days, then some sort of extension can be provided, but we would still encourage you to write to us slightly earlier so that we could provide you with an extension. Any requests that come to us after the deadline has gotten over, we may not be able to entertain that. The next question is, when is the last day to apply for financial aid in round 1? Sorry.
Last date. So the form opens on the 20th of January, 2023 for round 1, and you will get 5 days to apply. So your last day will be 25th January, 2023. And the deadline which we keep for the financial aid form submission is 5 p.m. So 25th January, 5 p.m. will be your deadline to apply and submit the financial aid form.
Right. The next question is, can biology as minor subject be considered as a science subject for merit cum mean scholarship? The answer is no. Out of the 5 science subjects, one of them has to be a preferred major for you to qualify for a science scholarship. Excuse me. Would you please elaborate a bit more for the income considered for self-employment? Would it be as per the ITR?
Yes, it will be as per the ITR, and also as per the financial statements which will be shared by the family members. So we'll consider the ITR and we'll consider the financial statements as well to ascertain the income of the family.
Right. If one of the parents died a few years ago, do I have to attach a death certificate to fill in the form? So the answer is no. We do not ask for any details if any of a parent is deceased. You just have to mention in the form that the parent is no longer there. You don't have to attach any proof. What about the financial aid via SAT, the SAT?
Okay, so the College Board Scholarship is basically a partnership between Ashoka University and College Board. And if you qualify as per their criteria, then we will be sending a list of students who are shortlisted as per the College Board Scholarship to the team. And then they will be doing their own background check, and they will reach out to students for a further interview or for a further check from their end to make a student eligible for the SAT scholarship. So you do not have to do anything. It's just that if you've taken the SAT score, do mention and share your scores in the admissions form. And later, once you get the offer and once you have accepted the offer, we will then take forward the list of students who qualify as per the College Board criteria and share the list with them.
Right. Are there any aid provided for a single parent? So there is no separate aid process if you have a single parent. The financial aid process is the same for everyone. However, like we've stated, there are a number of factors that go into our assessment of aid and that go into the final financial aid decision. So this is certainly one of the factors that we would consider while we are assessing your case for financial aid. Next question is minimum 25% waiver for Haryana domicile only on tuition fees or overall fees?
No. So the minimum 25% waiver for the Haryana domicile students is only on the tuition fee. And above that will depend if you qualify for financial aid. So,
Right.
But minimum is 25% waiver on the tuition fee.
Right. The next question is, how recent should the salary statements and other documents be when applying for need-based aid? So the documents should be your latest documents. So for instance, if you're applying for aid in January, the salary slips should be for January, December, and November. But if the salary slip for the current month is not available, we would encourage you to attach the latest available 3 salary slips. So it would be, in that case, be for December, November, and October. So the next question is, can I apply for this scholarship after joining Ashoka?
No. So the process starts once you've received a firm offer of admission, and the window opens the day you receive a firm offer of admission for the next 5 days. And we try and share the decision with you before the acceptance deadline date for a particular round. So you can apply for financial aid only in the round in which you have received a firm offer of admission for the timeline which is mentioned for that round, but not after joining the university.
Right. So the next question is, what happens if the CGPA drops below 3.5 in a particular semester? Will my financial aid or science scholarship be taken away? The answer is, you have to meet these requirements in every semester for you to be able to, for the science scholarship to continue. So if you are not able to reach a certain CGPA in a particular semester, the science scholarship will be taken away in that case. However, since financial aid is purely need-based, the financial aid shall continue. Next question is, currently intention is to study science, but after a year, if major changes, then what about merit scholarship? I think we've answered that already. One of the previous questions was the same. The next question is, will the acknowledgement email for our application have a link which will direct us to the financial aid form?
Sorry, will
the acknowledgement, I think what he means to say is that acknowledgement for admission, the firm offer of admission, also have a link which will then direct them to the financial aid form.
Right, yes. So once you receive a firm offer of admission, the same will be communicated to you through email. And on that same email, you will be given a password and a login ID wherein you can log into the Ashoka portal, and there the financial aid form will be made available to you. So yes, in that same email, you will be directed on how to find the financial aid form.
The next question is, are we supposed to mention in the comments what percentage of waiver will be most suited, or is that the discretion of the university? You are free to mention if there's a certain aid level that you're looking at. However, the final decision is going to be of the committee, in this case, the financial aid committee. So, but you are free to mention if there's a certain aid level that you're looking at. The next question is, can the College Board scholarship and Ashoka financial aid be stacked? Meaning we get both scholarship and aid.
Yes, so that depends again, that as I mentioned, that there's a partnership. So you have to qualify certain criteria for Ashoka University and then certain criteria for College Board. So if you qualify financial aid criteria, you will be eligible to get the financial aid. And if you qualify then the College Board criteria as well, you will get that scholarship as well. But the process is separated. So financial aid is a different process, which is assessed by Ashoka University, and College Board process is a different process wherein we share the list of students with them and they do an evaluation and select students. So if you qualify for both of them, you can get both the scholarships.
Right. The next question is, if the committee decides that you're not eligible for financial aid, will it affect your admission? The answer is no. The financial aid form opens only after you've gotten a firm offer of admission. So your admission stays. It's only that you've not gotten a financial aid. So you're free to confirm, you're free to accept the offer, but with no financial aid. So it does not have any ramification on your admission. It works separately. If I get through the admission, but I'm rejected a financial aid, can I revoke my decision?
Yes, you may do that. If you are not comfortable with the financial aid awarded to you and you do not want to go ahead and accept the offer of admission, you have the opportunity to do that, right? And we also try to share our decision before the acceptance deadline date so that you can make a more informed decision about your offer and about the financial aid which is granted.
The next question is, if a candidate is staying in a joint family, is only the income of the parents counted or all the members in the same household? So if your parents are service employees, if they are working somewhere, then it's only the parents whose income shall be considered for the purpose of our assessment. But if you are a Hindu undivided family, then you'll also have to include details of the other members in the family. The next question is, are Chandigarh residents eligible for the Haryana fee concession?
Yes, Chandigarh students are also eligible for Haryana fee concession, but you need to provide the Haryana domicile certificate in order to avail that fee concession.
Right. The next question is, what is the word limit for the comment section on the financial aid form? So we do not really have a word limit, but we would encourage you to write somewhere between 250 and 650 words, because I think that limit would be fine for you to be able to express the reason for applying for financial aid. There's no formal word limit, so to say. The next question is, if I don't have an ITR due to legal issues, like an ongoing divorce case, what should I do?
So if a legal ITR is not available, but any other proof of income is available, you can go ahead and attach that. But if there's no proof of income available, then we would request you to upload a self-attested document wherein you can mention what is the annual income of the parent or the guardian and what is the reason of non-availability of the ITR. And you can also explain this in the comments section. So, yes.
The next question is, does the university have any collaboration with any bank for education loans? So yes, we have tie-ups with the two financial institutions. These are HDFC Credila and Credence, and they offer education loans at very attractive rates. So should you need to go with one, we would encourage you to please reach out to us, and we'll be able to connect you with the relevant resource people from these two institutions. The next question is, one of the earning members of the family is a government employee. Will we still get aid?
Yeah. As we have mentioned before, that there is no criteria for us to decide that if a student is coming from a government employee background or a self-employed background or a service or an army background, that they will get aid or not. It is completely dependent on the financial standing of the student's family. So therefore, if you feel that there's a need to apply for financial aid, then please go ahead and apply, and do not think about all these factors affecting your eligibility for financial aid.
Right. The next question is, do immovable properties like land, etc., need to be mentioned? So yes, there's a dedicated place in the financial aid form where you need to mention your wealth details. So property details is one of the subsections within that. So again, we would encourage you to please go through the sample financial aid form on the Ashoka website. You'll be able to see what are the kind of details that we ask for. The next question is, how does the aid application process work after a conditional offer is confirmed?
Okay, so once your conditional offer is confirmed and you receive an email that you have received a firm offer of admission, at the same time, your financial aid form will also open, which will be again for 5 days, and the same process will follow. So as and when you receive the firm offer of admission, the financial aid form will become eligible and applicable for you from then.
Right. The next question is there a maximum income threshold for applying for financial aid? So again, I'd just reiterate here that income is only one of the factors that goes into our assessments. There are a number of other things that we look at, but there's an indicative income slab that we have on the Ashoka website. So please feel free to go through the slabs that we've mentioned, and you'll get some idea as to what aid is granted at a particular income level. But it's only an indicative list. Your case, even if it falls within a certain income bracket, may differ. And therefore, the list that we have there is only indicative. The next question is, can we attach an income tax certificate?
Income certificate.
Yeah.
Attach the income tax acknowledgement and the detailed ITR. These are the two things we ask for, and you can also attach the income computation sheet in the ITR section. So these are mainly the 3 documents which we request for in the ITR section.
Right. Okay, the next question is, if we take education loan, are we eligible for financial aid? So I think this could mean 2 things. One is that you have an education loan already for either yourself or a sibling of yours. And so there basically is a dedicated place where you need to mention about any loan liabilities that you may have, and we would encourage you to mention about the education loan liability if there is one. But if you are talking about your case, if you have gotten admission already and you've taken a loan, then if you have taken a loan already, we would still encourage you to mention this fact in the form, because I think that'll help us take a more holistic view of the kind of aid that needs to be offered. Therefore, in either case, you have to mention details relating to education loan if you have one. The next question is, ITR for how many years will be needed?
So ITR will be needed for the latest 3 years. So for students who are applying for the round 1, the ITR which we'll be needing from them will be for financial year 21-22, financial year 2020-21, and financial year 2019-20. So the latest 3 years ITRs will be required.
Right. The next question is, should we mention house on loan as an asset? Yes, there's a dedicated section within the form where we ask for property details. So any property, in fact, that you have has to be mentioned in the form, even if that property is on loan. And within the space where you need to mention about the property, there's a subsection that asks if you have any loan liability on the said property, wherein you could mention the details relating to the loan on that particular house. So the next question is, can we apply for education loan for a differential amount after financial aid?
Yes, you may do that. You can apply for an education loan after the financial aid decision is shared with you. Right.
Right. The next question is, what about those loans taken from family friends for high school education? Will that be taken into consideration? So towards the end of the form, just before the comments section, there is a space where we ask for any personal loans that you may have. Though the loan that you talk about here is not an official loan, but we would still encourage you to write that in the personal loan details, just so that we can take this into consideration while we are assessing your case for aid.
Right.
So I believe we do not have any further questions. Okay. So with that, we come to the end of today's session. Thank you everyone for joining us. We hope that this webinar was helpful in understanding Ashoka's undergraduate program. We would really appreciate if you could please take a minute to share your valuable feedback with us. The link to the feedback form is provided in the chat box. Please note that the recording of this session will be available on Ashoka's YouTube channel in case you would like to share it with your friends. Next week, we'll have open houses on the undergraduate programs across cities on the 12th and 13th of November. The registration link for the same is in the chat box. So before we end the session, I would once again like to inform our audience that the application for round 1 of the undergraduate program starting next year, which is August 2023, are open. The deadline for round 1 is 23rd November. I would encourage students to start early and have access to personalized mentorship from our academic counselors and get a confirmed offer of admission and financial aid even before their final board results are announced. If you have any further queries, you can please write to us at ugapply@ashoka.edu.in or contact us on the numbers that are given on the screen. So this brings us to the end of this session. Please take care of yourself and stay safe. Thank you so much.
Thank you everyone for joining the session. Please take care.